Gerald Clark, Alex Cole, and Vinny Castilla will be in the outfield. The left side of the infield will be Jim Tatum and Freddie Benavides. On the right side, Eric Young and Andres Galarraga. The catcher is Joe Girardi, and on the mound is David Need.
Charlie, David Need 3-0 last year with the Atlanta Braves, 14-9 at the AAA level in Richmond. A lot of pressure on this young man. He seems to be handling it very well. We talked to him yesterday, and he was anxious to get out on the mound, much like the Rockies were, just to get out on the field and play someone other than themselves. What to look for from David Need: good fastball and slider, a changeup. He uses a split grip like a split finger, and he calls it a fudge. It's a changeup.
And we asked him yesterday, why do you call it a fudge?
And he said, John Smoltz called it a fudge. He helped me learn how to throw it, so that's what I call it.
Don Baylor, the manager of the Colorado Rockies, and Willie McGee, the right fielder, will step in. Last year hit .297 with a home run and 36 RBIs, under 300 for the first time in 3 years. And here's the offering. And it is low for ball one.
And they took the ball, tossed it into the Rockies dugout, and that ball will be saved.
And the 1-0 pitch. And a strike call.
Charlie, I think it's important for David Need that he can find the strike zone early. That way, that's one less thing he has to worry about.
1-1 pitch. And a base hit, and going for a double is Willie McGee, and he is going to stretch it for 3. And here comes the throw. It is not in time. And so Willie McGee opens with a triple for the Giants.
Now David Need comes in with a fastball, and McGee, who's a free swinger, just hits it right up the alley into left center field. Cole with the relay throw to Benavides, and the throw hits McGee in the back.
And with nobody out and McGee at third, here is Darren Lewis, the center fielder. And he looks at a call strike.
Of course, in this situation, the Rockies will play the infield back. They'll trade an out for a run here in the first inning.
Darren Lewis hit .231 last year. And he fouls it off. 0-2 the count to Darren Lewis.
Darren Lewis is a young man that the Giants have high hopes for. He is a terrific defensive player, but he's had problems adjusting at the major league level to major league pitching.
And the 0-2 pitch, and he fouls it out of play. Now David Need is scheduled to go either 3 innings or 45 pitches, whichever comes first. And when we talked to him, he said, I'd like the 3 innings to come before the 45 pitches.
I think he'd like 3 innings, Charlie, and an at-bat.
Yes. To the count to Darren Lewis. And he strikes him out.
Well, that's the easy part. He gets Lewis out on a fastball that was tailing just a little bit, and Darren Lewis swings right through it. However, now he has to face the heart of the batting order.
And here's the first baseman, Will Clark. Last 7 years, he's hit .287, .308, .282, .333, .295, .301, and .300.
Starts Clark off with a changeup. And Will Clark right now, more than anything, going to school on David Need. He's going to remember this at bat and carry it on to the regular season.
And he comes high, and the count evens at 1-1. 1 away. Willie McGee is the runner at third. He opened with a triple.
See the speakers, this is a minor league ballpark.
And he comes high again. 2-1.
And you'll notice things in a minor league ballpark that obviously you will not see at a ballpark in the major league. But we know one thing. It's full. And that's what counts.
Sold out, 7,800 in attendance. And he fouls it back, and the count evens at 2-2.
2 balls and 2 strikes now to Clark, and what David Need has to do, along with his catcher Girardi, is figure out what his best pitch is right now. And whatever it is, he needs a strikeout. A strikeout will keep a fly ball from scoring the runner at third.
1 away, 2-2 pitch. Alex Cole goes back, and it is off the wall. So the run scores as Clark doubles off the center field wall. And the Giants move on top by a score of 1-0.
Well, David Need did not want to get that ball up in the strike zone. He wanted to throw it below Clark's knees. And watch the location, right in Will Clark's wheelhouse. The classic swing, and then Alex Cole trying to chase it down, and he has to play it off the wall.
And so a run in, 1 away. Clark is the runner at second, and here is Matt Williams. Williams, a disappointment last year for the Giants. Here's the pitch. It's outside.
Well, after the Giants traded Kevin Mitchell, they wanted Matt Williams to pick up Mitchell's slack, and he couldn't do it. He really missed Mitchell in the lineup, and his numbers show it.
And the 1-0 pitch is fouled off.
Many people feel that with the addition of Barry Bonds, that it's going to benefit Matt Williams more than anybody.
Barry Bonds on deck. And the 1-1 pitch is fouled back to the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Matt Williams. The Giants with a run in here in the top of the first as Willie McGee opened with a triple. Darren Lewis struck out. Will Clark a double off of the center field wall in the RBI in a 1-0 ball game.
Right now, David Need going and looking for the strikeout. Matt Williams struck out over 100 times last year.
And Cole goes back and makes the play. And Clark moves to third. So we've got 2 away, and here comes Barry Bonds. Twice in the last 3 years, the MVP of the National League.
I don't think there's any question that talent-wise in the National League, he's got it all.
And he looks at the crossbar.
Peter McGowan, when the Giants stayed in San Francisco, wanted to make a statement, and the statement was signing Barry Bonds.
And he fouls this one back off of the handle, and the count is 0-2 with 2 away. And Clark, the runner at third, and a run in for the Giants. They're on top. We're in the top of the first.
If David Need can get out of this inning with just allowing the 1 run, this will be a good inning for him.
And the 0-2 pitch. And he strikes him out. A run in on 2 hits, no errors, and a man left. We're in the middle of the first, and the Giants lead it 1-0. The center fielder will lead it off. Eric Young, the second baseman, is hitting second, followed by Gerald Clark, the left fielder. Galarraga at first. He'll be batting fourth. Castilla is in right. Jim Tatum is hitting sixth. He's the third baseman. Joe Girardi is the catcher. Benavides is batting eighth. The shortstop and the pitcher batting ninth is David Nee. Defensively in the outfield, Bonds, Lewis, and McGee for the Giants, with Matt Williams and Royce Clayton on the left side of the infield. Robbie Thompson and Will Clark on the right side. Jim McNamara is the catcher, and on the mound is Buddy Black.
10-12 last year for the Giants. Bud Black, he lost 6 in a row at the end of the season. In 9 of his last 10 decisions, his ERA in September was over 8. And what we can look for out of Bud Black is he'll spot his fastball. He changes speeds. He's got a pretty good curveball. But more importantly, he has to have his control, and he will work the outside part of the plate. If he is catching the outside corner, he can be tough.
And for the Rockies, here is Alex Cole, the center fielder, to lead it off. And a little check swing, and it's out in front. The catcher throws him out. So very quickly, Cole is retired 2-3 if you're scoring. And that'll bring up Eric Young, the second baseman.
Nothing aggravates hitters more than a check swing little dribbler out in front of home plate. The exception to the rule is if you're Alex Cole. Sometimes you can hit a ball and you might be able to beat it out. Watch Alex Cole. Pitches inside, and he tried to get around on it and just hits a little dribbler.
And here is Eric Young with one away. We're in the bottom of the first. Giants on top by a score of 1-0. And he looks at a call strike. Fly ball center field. And Lewis gloves it, and we've got 2 away.
Well, it finally got underway for Don Baylor. It is, Charlie mentioned in our open, this is just one of 3 days where I'm sure he's going to wake up quite early in the morning. And hopefully, he'll be able to have a healthy Charlie Hayes for the last important day. And Charlie sitting right next to Don Baylor, or Don Zimmer. See the cast on his right thumb.
And the hitter is Gerald Clark. Clark, the left fielder. A little over 3 years in the major leagues, all with San Diego. And he takes a cut and he misses. 1-1 the count to Gerald Clark.
Talking about Charlie Hayes, report today is he might have a chance of being in the opening day lineup.
Fly ball center field. Lewis goes back, and he makes a play. Showing the bottom of the first for the Rockies, 3 up and 3 down. We have 1 complete, and the Giants lead it 1-0. And he looks at the call strike.
Now, Robbie has always been considered in San Francisco the heart and soul of the ball club. Many people felt that would be Will Clark. And, of course, what Will does is very important. Robbie, a guy that is more of a leader than Will Clark.
And it's outside. Robbie sporting the beard.
A beard, yes.
And he takes the cut and he misses. 2-2 the count to Robbie Thompson.
See Dusty Baker alongside of him, Bobby Bonds.
And the 2-2 pitch, and he fouls it back.
You talk about Clark and Thompson. Clark leading more by example. Thompson a little bit more verbal in the clubhouse. And he's a solid player.
Thompson, leadoff hitter. We're in the top of the second. Giants up 1-0. Fly ball center field. Cole moves over. And he makes the play. This year, Coors Literacy Pass It On program will help tens of thousands of adults learn how to read. To be a volunteer tutor or to find out how you can help with literacy skills, call the Coors Literacy Hotline, 1-800-626-4601. And here's Royce Clayton, the shortstop. And he fouls it off. Needs settling down a little more in the second inning.
Take a look at Royce Clayton. For a young man, he has a big swing. And if you have a big swing, you can usually pitch to hitters, and you can pitch them inside.
And this one's fouled off.
But you're right about Need. It just looks like coming out in the second inning, he was just a little bit more comfortable out there.
When we talked to him yesterday, after practice, he was anxious to get started.
He really was.
Yeah. He said, I don't have the control that I had at this time last year, but he's anxious to get on the mound and let's get going.
And you're talking about a young man that has been followed around quite a lot by the media since he arrived in the middle of February.
And the 0-2 pitch. He comes high with the changeup.
But
he handles it well, though.
He really does. He says all the right things. He wants people to know that he is not a finished product. And he's going to improve.
And the 1-2 pitch, and it's outside. 2-2. Told me last night at the big reception that last year when he found out that he was going to be selected as one of the members of the World Series team, he said my heart was just going, just took off like a motorboat. He said I was so excited. So I didn't get in it, but I said, oh, that excitement. Tatum makes the play at third and throws him out. And we've got 2 down. And that'll bring up the catcher, Jim McNamara.
Interesting note about McNamara. McNamara was drafted in the expansion draft by the Florida Marlins. They did not protect him in the minor league draft, and the Giants drafted him back. Some of the guys were asking him what it was like to be on an expansion team. He wasn't on it for more than a couple of years.
Just a passing fancy.
Yeah.
1-0 the count to McNamara. Strike call. And he comes low, and the count is 2-1. With 2 away, nobody on, we're in the top of the second. In the top of the first, Willie McGee with a triple and Will Clark with a double. And the RBI and the Giants up 1-0. Deep down the line in right field. And McNamara will head for second. And he has a stand-up double.
Come on, buddy. There we go.
And that is the third hit off of David Need. We'll take a look at it.
And all 3 hits have been for extra bases. Inside part of the plate, Jim McNamara will open up his hips and drive it right down the right field line. That's a home run swing, and it ends up a double.
And with 2 out, McNamara on his second, here's the pitcher, Buddy Black.
And he can hit a little bit. Do not let those numbers fool you.
Outside corner to call strike. And it's fouled. 0-2 the count to Buddy Black. What an absolutely gorgeous day to open spring training.
Just a slight breeze. Just enough to keep you comfortable under beautiful skies. Beautiful, except if you're playing the infield or the outfield. Then it can be tough.
And this is fouled off. They call it a high sky. We mentioned it in the opening. You know, what is the problem?
No depth. You'd like to see a little layer of clouds or a few clouds. You can see some in the background. And that'll give you something to judge those pop-ups and fly balls with.
2 away, the 0-2 pitch. And he fouls this one off.
Fan stuck his hat out to try to catch it, and the ball went through the hat. There he is right there. He's trying to fix it. Joe Girardi never saw this ball. Watch how he looks to his right, and the ball is to his left.
And the umpire was following. And the pitch at the plate is low. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Buddy Black with 2 away, and Jim McNamara, the runner at second. And a little check swing dribbler, and Young will throw him out, and that will retire the side. No runs on a hit. 1 man left. We're in the middle of the second. The Giants lead it 1-0. Big Cat.
Big Cat. And they call him that because of the way he moves around at first base. He's pretty quick.
Buddy Black on the mound for the Giants. He retired the side. Cole, Young, and Quack in the bottom of the first, and he got him on a total of 6 pitches.
Right now, Galarraga having a tough time waiting, staying back. Bud Black is not going to throw the ball by you. And Galarraga is just a little bit out in front.
7 years Major League experience. And it's high. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Galarraga as he leads off the bottom of the second inning here at High Corbett Field in Tucson, Arizona. Black inside and inside, and the count even at 2-2. Come visit your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer, where you'll find great deals on the hottest lineup for '93 during the biggest little car blowout. It's going on right now. And the 2-2 pitch. And he pops it up. Shallow center field. Lewis comes in, makes the play. Braulio Castillo, the right fielder, is up next. And a week ago, you would have said he would not be starting this ball.
Indeed. Dante Bichette is suffering from a little soreness
in the right hand. And he swings at the first pitch. Clayton, the shortstop, throws him out. And very quickly, we've got 2 away.
You figure something would have to be wrong with Bichette for him to miss a guy like Bud Black.
And also, Jim Tatum, who will come to the plate with 2 away. Is not scheduled to start.
Well, of course, we mentioned earlier about Charlie Hayes, and then a guy that could be playing behind Charlie Hayes, Nelson Liriano. He injured himself. He broke a bone in his foot. So Jim Tatum with the opportunity. Don Baylor even talked about him a little bit, saying that this is a chance for Jim Tatum.
And, of course, the Denver fans remember Jim with the Zephyrs. He had 329, 19 home runs. 101 RBIs, the MVP of the American Association. And the count is 1-1 to Tatum.
Now, those are sweet numbers. I don't care what league you play in. If you can put those numbers up, somebody's going to take a look at you.
And he has the first hit of the ball game for the Colorado Rockies. And Don Baylor told us, you know, that there would be 2 to 3 players that you didn't expect that would come through in spring training.
And this might be one of them. A high fastball that Tatum fights it off and drives it up the middle for a base hit. That ball is also taken by the umpire and thrown into the Rockies dugout. That'll be saved.
And here's the catcher, Joe Girardi. Right after we did our opening sequence and we were walking past the dugout, he was coming out of the dugout. He said, "Are you nervous?" We said, "Sure." "Are you nervous?" He said, "I sure am."
And we were glad to hear that.
Yes. 1-0 the count to Girardi. An academic All-America at Northwestern with a degree in industrial engineering.
And, of course, the thrill for him is to be playing right there in Chicago, where he went to school.
And it's foul. 2-1 to count.
The Rockies drafted Joe Girardi because he can handle pitchers and he can throw out base runners. If they can get a good, solid 250 batting average with some production out of Joe Girardi, everyone will be pleased.
Tatum's the runner at first, and Girardi with a 2-1 count. And the throw to first, and he got him. So Tatum is picked off at first. And after 2, the Giants lead 1-0. Here's Willie McGee. He scored the only run of the ball game, and he opened the top of the first with a triple to left center. Squares to bunt and fouls it back.
Now, the one thing about McGee is he hasn't ever had the bunt in his repertoire as an offensive player. A lot of infield hits, but not many of them came while he was bunting.
And this, of course, is what spring training is all about. And in the stands, a pretty lady there. That's Melissa Murray. She and David Need are set to date. Fiancé, October 15th. That's right. Unless, as they said last night, unless we're in the playoffs. If we're in the playoffs, well, she said, "I don't mind if we're in the playoffs. We'll postpone it." I love it.
We'll push it back.
Yes, nice to be young. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Willie McGee. Off of the glove of Need, and the shortstop Benavides throws him out. And we have 1 away. And that'll bring up Darren Lewis.
This is 1-6-3 on the putout. You give the pitcher, believe it or not, an assist on this. Slows it down for Benavides. He throws on the run, and a half a step gets Willie McGee.
And here is Darren Lewis. He struck out on an 0-2 pitch in the top of the first. And Need comes inside for ball 1.
There's Larry Bernarth. In front, Don Zimmer. Bernarth with the sunglasses, watching David Need very carefully.
2-0.
Well, for Larry Bernarth, all of the pitchers that he has in camp, well, they're all very special, and it's almost like family for the pitching coach. And the thing that's hardest for coaches, Charlie, is it's like they're part of every pitch. So David Need will be through, but Larry Bernarth won't be. He'll be out there with Lance Painter next.
Here's the 3-0 pitch. And it's a called strike. Hey, Rockies fans, Domino's and the Colorado Rockies have teamed up to offer you a Rockies pizza special for only $9.99. Every time you order a large 1-item pizza. Here's the pitch. And the shortstop throws him out. We've got 2 away. Every time you order a large 1-item pizza, Domino's donates a portion of each sale.
on every pitch that David Need has thrown to him. Watch the swing. I'm sure you folks have seen it many times. It is classic. Watch the way he distributes his weight. Stiff front foot, and then the follow-through. He'll go in the clubhouse, write everything down, so that when he faces David Need again, he'll go back and look at his notes.
And the hitter is Matt Williams. 2 away. Clark is at first. And strike one. Did you do that?
I did not, and not enough players do it. It's a great thing to do. Not enough players take enough time.
What about for youngsters that are watching?
Oh, it's a tremendous tool if you can discipline yourself to do it after the game.
Strike two.
I can go up to Will Clark right now and mention an at-bat to him from last year, and he will give me the entire sequence of pitches right off the top of his head. That's the type of studying and the type of memory he has. Tell you what, though, you know Will Clark is a guy that has been in this league quite a while. When he was a rookie, right out of college, he walked into big league spring training in Scottsdale, and the first thing the veteran players did while he was on the field is they took his cowboy boots and spray painted them orange.
Need goes to first. Scheduled for 3 innings or 45 pitches. He's thrown 51 pitches, has 2 away and a runner aboard, and we're in the top of the 3rd.
So you paint your boots orange, and then you watch to see how the youngster reacts. And he reacted properly. Mike Krukow purchased a pair of new boots for him the next day.
Love it. It's all in how you handle yourself.
And
it's so important.
The veterans will test you. If you handle it properly, you got a good chance of being part of the group. If not, they will wear you down so that you do become part of the group.
It'll be a lonely summer.
Oh.
Yeah. 0-2 the count at the plate with 2 away. And he fouls it back off of the end of the bat.
So I think Donnie Baylor and Larry Bernard stretching it just a little bit for David Need. And they're being a little flexible with the number of pitches. I like him in my corner, Larry Bernard.
The Bear.
Yes, sir.
And he strikes him out. That is the 3rd strikeout of the ball game for David Need. No runs on a hit, a man left. We're in the middle of the 3rd. And the Giants bottom of the 3rd. And that is all, of course, that we will see of David Need as far as a pitcher. But we will see him at the plate.
Yeah, Don Baylor may want him to take his licks.
Joe Girardi will lead it off. He, of course, had a 2-1 count when Tatum was picked off at first. You had 3 defensive changes for the Giants. Check swing.
That was Steve Hosey you saw in right field replacing Willie McGee.
And it is outside, and the 2 other changes?
At first base, replacing Will Clark is J.R. Phillips, and replacing Matt Williams at 3rd is Craig Colbert.
And he drills this one into the Giants dugout.
There you see Colbert. Played some for the Giants last year. Can catch. Can play a little first base.
And it is high. 3-2 the count to Girardi.
Well, if they allowed 2 guys to be in the on-deck circle, David Need would be out there.
Yeah, he's ready. And it's fouled away.
He's probably taken a nice deep breath. And
you know something? It's been a long spring for David Need.
Sure it has.
The caravan.
Yep. There's Jeff Brantley warming up.
All of the publicity, the interviews. And he walks in. So Girardi is aboard with the walk. And that'll bring up Freddie Benavides, the shortstop. Continental Airlines, official airline of the Colorado Rockies, proving one airline can make a difference in Colorado. He squares to bunt and he fouls it back.
Yeah, you know, I give David Need credit. He pulled a veteran move right there. He figured if I put my helmet on and grab a bat, maybe Don Bailey will not notice that I'm due up this inning. He didn't get very far. Jim Olander is now in the on-deck circle.
Well, he tried. Is foul back, and the count at the plate is 0-2.
Now, the one thing you learn if you're trying to sacrifice bunt or bunt for a base hit is lay off of the high fastball. That's the most difficult pitch to try to bunt. You want something below the belt, preferably around the knees.
And he looks at a pitch that's low. 1 ball, 2 strikes again. Is going as Benavides strikes out at the plate, and Girardi has the stolen base.
And David Need with a good day. This is David Need when he struck out Matt Williams to end the top of the 3rd inning, and it was his 3rd strikeout in 3 innings. And here's Jim Olander.
And Olander swings on the first pitch off of the glove of the shortstop, comes back up with it. But Olander is aboard at first. And Girardi goes to 3rd.
Well, I think the fact that Girardi was running, Colbert may have taken his eye off the ball a little bit, and he just kicked it. You know, you come into the ball game, and eventually that ball is going to find you. And it's usually right away.
And so now the Rockies with runners at the corners and 1 away. And Alex Cole is the hitter. Girardi at 3rd, Olander at 1st. He was aboard on the air. Did they throw the ball out the first air the Rockies got aboard on, or keeping everything else for the museum?
They did. Alex Cole, not an RBI guy, but if you put the ball in play, things will happen.
And it is inside. Remember the bottom of the first, he had the little check swing and the dribble out in front, and the catcher threw him out.
When you have the type of speed that Alex Cole has, if you can hit the ball on the ground, you got a good chance of beating it out. And if you can do that, the tying run will score.
Throw to first. And Olander is back in time. Now, the reason for the oohs and the ahs, in case you just joined us, was that in the bottom of the 2nd is that Jim Tatum got picked off.
And that play was close. Take a look at Phillips as he applies the tag. And it was close.
And the pitch is fouled away, and the count is 2-2. Joe Girardi is aboard at 3rd. He was on in a walk and then stole 2nd. Moved to 3rd with Olander, who is at 1st. Got aboard on the air on the shortstop. And the pitch to no, the throw to 1st. and Olander is back.
You know, the one thing, Charlie, that we should mention is when you teach and you want your club to be aggressive like Don Baylor does, you're going to see guys get picked off.
And caught in rundown. Here's the pitch to the plate. And the first baseman comes home, and he is saved. Girardi scores the run.
That was the right play to make. Phillips got a good shot at throwing out Girardi. And it looks like the home plate umpire felt like Girardi slid underneath the tag by McNamara.
And the ball game is tied 1-1, and Eric Young is the hitter. And he looks at a call strike. Young is 0 for 1 of the ball game, flying out to center field on an 0-1 pitch in the bottom of the first. Olander now at second. Cole is the runner at first, and the pitch is outside.
So it's an RBI on a fielder's choice for Alex Cole.
Gets away from Bonds. 2 runs may score. Here's the throw, the slide, and he is safe. And the Rockies lead it 3-1.
Eric Young turns on this high fastball. And Barry Bonds has a little trouble with it. He's not going to be able to keep the runner from second from scoring, but he allows Alex Cole, who has great speed, to come in and score. Bonds kicks it, recovers, and his throw is cut off by Clayton. Short hop to McNamara, and Alex Cole with the third run.
And here's the pitch to Gerald Clark. Makes a play at first, and another run scored. So the bottom of the third now with 2 away, the big inning for the Colorado Rockies as they go up 4-1. And that'll bring up Galarraga. Race is 0 for 1 with a fly ball to center field.
Charlie, the one thing that we noticed veteran team like the Giants.
2-0 the count. With 2 away and 4 runs in here in the bottom of the third for the Rockies. Pop up shallow center.
Comes in replacing David Need. And who does he get to face first? Barry Bonds. And that pitch is down and away. 4-1. Rockies leading here in the top of the 4th inning. Lance Painter, young man, has never pitched above AA ball. And that pitch is in the dirt. Pretty good fastball, good curveball. He has a circle change. We asked him yesterday which one was his best pitch, and he said, my changeup. And you see his numbers in Wichita. And the Rockies think this guy is going to be a good one. Freddie Benavides. Galarraga, the big cat, out of the dirt, 1 out. guess one of the more enjoyable things, Charlie, is when we know who the guys are going to pitch, and you track them down, and you see that look in their eyes.
We tracked him down in front of the cooler yesterday.
That's right. And
he was anxious to throw, wasn't he?
And anxious to talk. You know, sometimes you think these guys are in a hurry. But he was not. He wanted to tell us what was going to work for him, and he was excited. Here's Robbie Thompson. Robbie, again. Benavides, 2 down. So Benavides has been involved in 4 of the last 5 outs defensively for the Rockies.
Bank One Colorado is proud to be the official bank of the Colorado Rockies. Bank One, whatever it takes, member of the FDIC.
Royce Clayton grounded out to Jim Tatum in his only at bat. He bluffs a bunt and takes a strike.
Painter told us he was a graduate of the University of Wisconsin, wants to go back, did his master's in sports administration. He said, but not for about 10 or 15 years. I'm not in a hurry.
He clarified that very quickly. He said, I'm not sure I could do anything that didn't involve something that has to do with sports. 1-1 pitch to Clayton is in the dirt.
You know, that is a growing feat. As everyone.
Indeed it is.
Oh, yeah.
You know, with the way coverage is going on in all the sports. Lots of jobs out there for young men and young women, for that matter. 2 balls and a strike to Royce Clayton. And that's a little bit inside and low. 3-1. Painter is 25 years old. As we mentioned earlier, 10-5 in Double-A. And on the 3-1 pitch, Clayton cannot catch up with it. Full count now with 2 down. Here in the top of the 4th inning with the Rockies leading 4-1.
A program note, our next television game, the Rockies and the Chicago Cubs, live from Mesa, Arizona next Saturday. 1 o'clock Rocky time.
Clayton in the air to left field, and a long run for Gerald Clark, and he will get there. Catching his side saddle, Gerald Clark retires Royce Clayton, and that'll do it. A 3-up, 3-down inning for Lance Painter. Middle of the 4th, 4-1. Rocky team, Vinny Castilla, and that pitch is in the dirt. Brantley, 7-7 last year with a 2.95 earned run average. In September, Roger Craig decided he wanted to see if Brantley could start. And start did he ever. 3-0 with an ERA of under 1. And Castillo pops this pitch, and it is out of play. Throws a good split finger, a hard slider, and a fastball that rises. Jeff Brantley. Call strike by home plate umpire Gary Darling. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Brantley follows Bud Black. Got him swinging. Castillo way out in front. And that's the first out recorded here in the 4th inning. Take a look at Brantley. That's the split finger. You see how it almost disappears to the hitter.
Castillo out in front.
And he missed it by a foot.
He did.
Tatum is 2 for 2. Jim Tatum with a line single into right field. And Jim Tatum is making an impression early. So Tatum aboard for the 2nd time, and that'll bring up Joe Girardi. Girardi walked and scored. He led off the 3rd with that walk. And that's the inning. The Rockies scored 4 times. And Girardi up the middle. Another base hit. And Tatum will stop at 2nd. And the Rockies with something going on here in the Bottom of the fourth. Back-to-back singles by Tatum and Girardi.
And take a look at the pitch. And the classic swing. Don't miss the Dodge Dakota Midwinter Blowout. See your Dodge dealer today.
That'll bring up Freddie Benavides with one out and runners at first and second. And that pitch misses to Benavides. Freddie struck out in the third inning. And Benavides is 0 for 1. Freddie had 231 with the Reds last year. That's in the dirt. Runner is going. It's Tatum. McNamara's throw is not in time. And Baylor ball is at work here in Tucson. Tatum, recognizing that that ball was going to be in the dirt, took off.
And this is something that we'll see all season long. As Don Baylor, we saw it in the inter-squad games. We saw it in all the practice, that if the opportunity is there, you go for it every time. He's not going to get on you if you get thrown out. He gets on you if you don't go for it when the opening is there.
And he liked that. Down low to Benavides. Problem is, if you're the base runner at first, like Joe Girardi, you really have to keep an eye on that lead runner. If he goes, you go. That's a strike, and it's 3-1. And in this case,
Girardi was not watching the lead runner.
Girardi did not anticipate the fact that Tatum might go. And it hurts you because that means the Giants still have the double play in order.
That's what spring training is all about.
Indeed it is. Runner's going. Grounded to Clayton. The run will score, and the throw's high. So with Girardi running on the pitch, it messed up Royce Clayton, and everybody is safe. The Rockies lead 5-1. You see Clayton hesitated just a little bit. And then the high throw.
And it'll be an error on Clayton.
And that'll bring up the Rockies pitcher, Lance Painter. Lance is talking to Jim McNamara, probably telling him that this is a wee bit uncomfortable for him.
Yeah.
In the batter's box. Let's see if he's trying to bunt. And he squared away, pulls the bat back, and it's a ball, 1-0. Situation here, Don Baylor trying to move those runners up one base. Try to get Benavides in scoring position. Girardi already is. And it's 2-0. Brantley struggling with his control. And Painter looking down to third base coach Jerry Royster. Good group that Don Baylor has assembled. Good coaching staff. And that's one of them, Jerry Royster.
Throwing BP yesterday. It's the first time he's done batting practice in a long time.
That's right. And
your friend Ron Hasse is.
Across the way.
At first.
And Painter gets it down. Brantley goes to third. He makes a good play, and not in time, as Painter was nearly doubled up at first. So the runner forced out at third base. The bunt play. And that'll bring up Alex Cole. Runner still at first and second. Alex Cole does have an RBI in this game. Off-speed pitch to Cole is down low. 1 ball and no strike. Rockies lead 5-1. We are in the bottom of the 4th inning. The base runners, Benavides, and Lance Painter. And that's a strike. Glad you joined us. Here's truly Dwayne Kuiper along with Charlie Jones. And we couldn't wait to get going. Down low again, and McNamara keeps it out in front of the plate. And it is a gorgeous day. They said it would be, and we haven't been disappointed.
This entire week, starting on Tuesday, the weather been a little on the cool side, cold and a lot of rain earlier. But then this week has been perfect. And every day has gotten just a little bit better.
And it seems to have kind of happened just when you arrived.
Yes, it did. I'd like to take credit for that.
We'll let you dial it. 3 balls and a strike. 2 outs. On the ground, and Phillips smothers it and beats Cole to the bag, and that'll do it. But the Rockies do come up with another run here in the 4th. We've played 4. Rockies lead 5-1.
30 Sherman Street in downtown Denver. For more information, call 303-832-8326. I've got mine here. Did you get a copy?
I have mine.
Did you buy it?
I'll tell you one thing.
$3.50?
They're terrific.
Did you get it free or did you have to pay?
I got mine the same place you got yours.
You bet. We never reach, right? Short pockets. No, they really are nice.
They are.
Colors.
Yep.
Yes. You should have one. Your viewers at home, you should have one.
Jim McNamara will lead it off for the Giants here in the top of the 5th inning. Facing Lance Painter. McNamara owns a double. He is 1 for 1. He doubled off of David Need with 2 out in the 2nd inning. McNamara, a solid defensive player, has always had trouble, no matter what league he's been in, swinging the bat. And that's a strike.
Illiteracy is a locked door to opportunities and to dreams. Through its Illiteracy Pass It On program, Coors is giving nearly 500,000 Americans the key to literacy. Be a volunteer tutor. Learn to read. Call the Coors Literacy Hotline. That number is 1-800-626-4601. Now go get a card and paper, and I'll give you that number again in a minute.
And McNamara is 2 for 2. A solid single into right field.
All right, that number once again, the Coors Literacy Hotline is 1-800-626-4601. Make that call.
So after breezing through 3 hitters in the 4th, Lance Painter allows a single here to McNamara to lead it off. And Dave Anderson will pinch hit. And we're going to have a pinch runner for McNamara. And it's going to be, it is not going to be Mike Benjamin. And that's the number for Mike Benjamin, but trust me, that is not Mike Benjamin. It's running. A lot of times in spring training, what will happen is the Major League Club will bring a number of minor league players along, and they'll throw them a uniform. And that's great, except it makes it pretty tough on us. And that's a
It makes it a challenge.
To Dave Anderson. Anderson with the Dodgers last year. This is his 2nd stint with the Giants. 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. And they've got the base runner picked off. The big cat. And no, what have they done? They've called it a balk? Yes, they have. Painter called for the balk. Let's see normal speed, what Painter did. Let's see if he comes to a full set position. He sure did. He stepped toward home and threw to first, and that's a ball. Good call by the umpires. You must step towards first base. Inside to Anderson, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. On deck is Steve Hosey. Rockies lead 5-1 here in the top of the 5th. Painter to the plate, and it's chopped foul. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. When you see the base runner, those guys that they bring from the minor leagues look young, and that's a young-looking thing.
Yes, he is.
One and 2. Painter to the plate. Got him. Good changeup by Lance Painter, and Anderson goes down swinging. So that's Painter's first strikeout. And you can see how Dave Anderson, fooled by the changeup, couldn't catch up to it. Here's Steve Hosey, who replaced Willie McGee. This will be his first at bat. Hosey, a #1 pick in the draft for the Giants a couple of years back. Those are his numbers in Phoenix last year. And the Giants obviously have high hopes for Hosey. Runner's going. Swing and a miss. Throw to third. Won't be in time. And Lance Painter forgot about that base runner at second. So the Giants now with a man at third with 1 out. And the count is 0-2 to Steve Hosey. And Painter gets another one. Another changeup in the dirt. And Hosey goes down swinging. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lance Painter. There you see the ball down low again. Hosey expecting a lot more and then getting that. And that's a wasted at bat if you swing at a pitch that bad. Here's Darren Lewis. Lewis is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. Facing Lance Painter for the first time. And he's going to bunt for a hit. Not a bad idea. Painter off the mound, and he double clutched, and a run will score. So Darren Lewis, who possesses great speed, fools the Rockies by bunting with 2 down, and he comes up with a base hit and an RBI. Now, not sure Lance Painter would have had a shot at Darren Lewis had he come up with it cleanly. But once he didn't, there was no chance. Here's J.R. Phillips. And that misses 1-0. So the Giants with a run here in the 5th inning. It is now a 5-2 ball game. Lewis with an average lead at first base. Darren Lewis last year had 28 stolen bases for the Giants, and that was tops on their ball club. Of course, Barry Bonds had 39 last year, but he was with the Pirates, and Lewis goes, and the ball is hit to left field and deep. Clark on the run. He is looking up, and he caught it. Gerald Clark runs it down in left field as he ran up against the wall, and that'll retire the side. The Giants do come up with a run and a couple of hits. We've played 4.5 here in Tucson. Catch by Gerald Clark.
Yes, and watch the left arm as he goes against the fence, because when he was coming in, he was carrying it straight down to his side. But he's in the on-deck circle and looks as if he's okay.
These walls are not padded, and they are solid brick.
Ooh.
Jeff Brantley to Eric Young, and the pitch is inside 1-0. Eric Young flied out in the first inning, doubled, scored, and drove home a pair in the third. And that's a strike. Jeff Brantley in his second inning of work here in the 5th. And that misses 2 balls and 1 strike.
You were talking about the brick. Oh, yes. Not a lot of give.
No cushion. The paint will not cushion you. As Young bluffs a bunt, and it's 3-1. This is the second ball game for the Giants. The first game, obviously, for the Rockies. Giants took it on the chin yesterday in Mesa. The Cubs beat them 10-0. Young on the ground, and Colbert to his left. And he will throw Eric Young out, and that's one down here in the fifth. There's Dusty. What do you think Dusty wanted from me today?
Yes, you had a visit. you were talking to him during batting practice behind the cage, and what did he want?
I was carrying my Rockies press guide. He said, give me that. I don't know anybody on your ball club. So I kindly handed Dusty my press guide. And this is a new experience for him, seeing a lot of players that he has never seen before, as it has been for us. Gerald Clark 0 for 2 with an RBI. Slide out and grounded out. And a big swing and a miss.
And not only did you play for the Giants, you were one of their broadcasters for the last 6 or 7 years. 7 years? 7 years?
This would have been my 8th. And terrific town, San Francisco, as you well know. Check swing, and that bounces foul. Gerald Clark. Starting to see some players warming up down the right field line. And I don't know what Don Baylor's thoughts are about this game, but he will make some changes. He wanted to get some of his starters at least 3 at-bats. And, of course, for Gerald Clark, this is his 3rd at-bat. And that's a strike. It's a split finger. And Gerald Clark didn't particularly agree with Gary Darling. It's the 2nd strikeout for Brantley. There's the split finger. And at times, Charlie, it almost looks unhittable. And that's why that
was one of the times.
And that's why that pitch is so effective. Here's the big cat, Andres Galarraga. He has popped out to center field twice. He is 0 for 2. And he gets jammed, and it's Royce Clayton who will throw on to first, and it's an easy inning. Patrick Lennon will come in and replace Andres Galarraga. So Patrick Lennon will be at first base, and he will be in the cleanup slot. Another name that a lot of people are talking about, Patrick Lennon. Here's Greg Colbert, and that pitch is high from Lance Painter. This, for Lance Painter, is his 3rd inning of work. And that's down low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Painter came in to start the 4th inning, replacing David Need. And that's a wee bit outside, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. Talking about Patrick Lennon, 6'2", 200 pounds, signed as a free agent by the Rockies. That's a strike. He has spent some time in the big leagues. 91 with Seattle, 92 with Seattle. On the ground, and Tatum. He gets up in the dirt, and yes. A couple of terrific plays, one by Jim Tatum, and the other by the guy we're just talking about.
And you wondered at the beginning of the day if that Jim Tatum is going to be a 3rd. Is this an opportunity for him? Is he just basically a utility man? Well, the way he's been playing today, he has certainly made his mark in the opening game of spring training.
And
Lennon digs it out.
What a great play. This is grounded, and it's going to be a base hit. Mark Carrion with an infield single. So Mark Carrion swings at the first pitch by Lance Painter. and he just beats this ball right into the ground at home plate. See, he doesn't take a stride, and he had enough topspin on it that it dribbled down the third base line and died. So carry on with an infield hit.
And the batter is Jeff Brantley, the pitcher.
And Brantley will be sacrificing, and he takes a strike. Brantley with a 111 batting average last year. His starts came in the month of September, so he did not acquire too many at-bats, and he bunts this one off the screen. You'll hear us say it a lot throughout the course of this season. Pitchers that can move runners along can help themselves considerably. Right now for Brantley, if he can get that guy in a scoring position, a base hit will drive him home. And that pitch is up high. There's carry on with the infield hit. And Brantley trying to get him down to second. Wendell Kim coaching third. There's the bunt. Painter's got to play at second. He goes there to first. Double play. And the play was made by Lance Painter, who got rid of it. And that ends the inning. After 5.5, Rockies 5.
Not a question in his mind. Goes to second. There's one. To first. Double play.
If the pitcher can give that shortstop or middle infielder a good throw with something on it, you got a chance to turn it with the pitcher running. And Lance Painter has shown me something this afternoon. Here for the Rockies is Braulio Castillo, who is 0 for 2, struck out against Brantley in his last at bat. And that's a strike. The book on Castillo and the center fielder for the Giants.
We are searching throughout the press box.
We're going to find out.
Yes.
And Castillo into left center field, and it is off the wall. Castillo is rounding the bag. He's going into third, and he's going to make it. Braulio Castillo with a triple high into left center field.
And there is no question. He nails this one. And another look at the swing.
He's got terrifically quick wrist, and that's Dax Jones chasing it down into left center field. I did not make that up.
Dax Jones?
Yes.
And he, of course, is one of the minor league players for the Giants that they brought along on the bus this morning.
And what they usually tell those minor league guys is you may get in the game, you may not. Just be ready. Tatum 2 for 2 with a great play at third. Chance for another RBI. And swinging a foul off the mask of Andy Allenson. I said another RBI. Tatum does not have one. That's about the only thing he hasn't done this afternoon. I was talking about Castillo before he made contact. Castillo struck out 96 times in 386 at-bats last year. If he makes contact, he'll have a better average. 0-2 is the count to Jim Tatum. On deck is Joe Girardi. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. 5-2, Rockies leading. Up high.
And Rockies fans, now is a good time for you to break open an ice-cold Budweiser and enjoy that fresh, pure, natural taste. Nothing beats a Bud.
1-2 the count to Jim Tatum. Castillo at third with nobody out. Outside, and Tatum now an opportunity to give the Rockies a 4-run lead. The scoreboard says 2-1. Brummett warming up down in the bullpen for the Giants. And now Andy Allenson and Jeff Brantley are going to try to get together and get on the same page.
And Rocky fans, Domino's and the Colorado Rockies have teamed up to offer you a Rockies pizza special. It is only $9.99. Every time you order a large one-item pizza, Domino's donates a portion of each sale to the Rockies Youth Foundation. Call Domino's now and order your Rocky special. It's $9.99. Order now. Hey, you'll have it before the game's over. Well, that sounds great.
It does. Yeah. 2-1, the scoreboard says, to Jim Tatum. And now Brantley steps on. 2-7-1 for the Giants. 5-6-0 for the Rockies. And even though Allenson and Brantley had a meeting, it doesn't look like they quite figured out what they wanted to do. Now they're ready. Tatum swings and misses, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
This has been a good outing for Jim Tatum.
Really has. And I think what he'll do now is cut down on his swing just a little bit and try to put the ball in play. The Giants with the infield in means if you strike the ball pretty well on the ground, you got a chance of having it go through. Brantley is ready, and so is Tatum. And the 2-2 pitch is down and away, and now the count is full. The old adage in spring training is that the hitters are going to be ahead of the pitchers. And the reasons for that thinking is that pitchers have yet to gained a lot of confidence in their breaking stuff. So hitters are going to see a lot more fastballs. And that pitch is high, and Tatum draws the walk. So with nobody out here in the 6th inning for the Rockies, runners at the corner. And the hitter is Joe Girardi, who's been on base twice. He has scored a run, and he has stolen a base.
And don't forget our next television game, the Rockies and the Chicago Cubs. That is next Saturday, March the 13th at 1 p.m. Rockies time. We'll be live from Mesa, Arizona.
Joe Girardi facing Jeff Brantley with nobody out. And that's a strike. Brantley left that pitch on the inside part of the plate. I'm not sure that's where he wanted the location, but it worked out for him. He's quickly ahead of Girardi. Infield still in for the Giants. A ball hit hard. They may try to turn the double play. Girardi pops it into left field. Carrion didn't see it. It's Clayton who will back up, and he'll make the catch. So Carrion lost it, but it was still in the area of Royce Clayton, and he makes the catch. 1 out. We talked about how difficult a day like today it is for outfielders. Carrion may have had time to get to it, but he broke back.
And you mentioned the problem with the high sky. If you don't have enough clouds to give you a depth perception, it starts and you have no idea.
I've seen guys like Tony Gwynn who have gold gloves stacked up in their
closet,
and they look silly in spring training. Here's Benavides. Benavides with a strikeout and a single and an RBI. He is 1 for 2. And that misses inside. Rockies need to add to their 3-run lead.
And Darrell Boston is on deck.
So it has gone well for both Need and Painter. They have both gone 3 innings, just what Don Baylor and Larry Bernard wanted them to do. Two balls and no strikes to Benavides. Castillo is the base runner at third with a leadoff triple. At first, it's Jim Tatum who drew a walk. Benavides waving the bat at home plate. And it's 3-0. Right now, Brantley having a tough time with his control. And he does not want to face Darrell Boston with the bases loaded. So in order to keep that from happening, he's going to have to come in right now to Benavides, who may have the take some. Taking all the way, and it's a strike. Now Benavides looking down to Jerry Royster, and I'm sure Don Baylor will let Benavides swing away if it's a good pitch. Tatum goes. Benavides hits it high to left field, playable for carry-on. Tagging up and scoring is Castillo. And the Rockies now lead 6-2. Sacrifice fly for Freddie Benavides. And put in Darrell Boston into your lineup as a pinch hitter. And he'll be batting with 1 out. Make that 2 outs. And a man aboard at first, who's Jim Tatum. And a quick toss, and Tatum's out again. The second time that Jim Tatum in this ball game has been picked off, and it's just about the only negative thing you can say about Jim Tatum. Watch the quick throw, the quick tag by Phillips, and Tatum is out. We played 6. 6-2 Rockies.
Tatum was picked off. And the new pitcher is Willie Blair. And Royce Clayton is the hitter. He is 0 for 2. He bounced out and flied out. Tell me about Willie Blair.
Charlie, Willie Blair, you see his numbers 5 and 7 with the Astros last year. Blair with a good sinking fastball, a curveball, a slider, keeps the ball down. Blair has an idea on how to pitch. But the key to Willie Blair is keeping the ball down.
He was here in Tucson last year with a 4-4 record. And when we talked to him yesterday, he had more of a veteran's tendency with outlook at spring training. Not near as wide-eyed and bushy-tailed as the two youngsters that we saw earlier.
He just wanted to get out there for some work.
Yeah. He's only 27.
And I think if you're going to put together a pitching staff, you can't have just 23 and 24-year-old kids. You have to mix in a veteran guy like Willie Blair, and as you mentioned, a veteran at a young age.
And he strikes Clayton out. So he opens with a strikeout.
And Larry Bernard happy with the way David Need pitched, and I'm sure very pleased with the way Lance Painter pitched.
And here is the catcher, Andy Allenson. And his first at bat. And Blair comes inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count. The Rockies leading the Giants 6-2. 6 runs on 6 hits. The Giants have 2 runs on 7 hits. And this one is down the left field line. And Allenson slips and has to battle his way back to first. When he put on the brakes, his feet went out from under him. And he's aboard with a single. So let's take a look at the catcher as he rounds the bag.
Well, Andy Allenson is going to try to turn this one into 2, and he sees that the Rockies left fielder has cut the ball off down the line and made a good throw, and he slips a little bit and hustles back into first.
And that'll bring up the second baseman, Dave Anderson. And he lines out a shallow center field to Gerald Young, and we have 2 away with Allenson still the runner at first. Continental Airlines, official airline of the Colorado Rockies, proving one airline can make a difference in Colorado. One airline can make a difference in Colorado. Spring training is also for next.
Boy.
Steve Hosey.
I think we might say that a few times.
Yes. Bears repeating, as they say.
I think Steve Hosey is glad that Lance Painter is not out there. He swung at 3 changeups, and they were all either in the dirt or close to being in the dirt.
And so now he faces Willie Blair, the 3rd pitcher of the afternoon for the Rockies. Blair scheduled to go 2. A ball and a strike, the count to Steve Hosey. And they're not holding Allenson at first. And you can see those are the skid marks that you see where he went down in the dirt.
Catchers leave bigger skid marks than any other position players. And in an attempt to stop, you can see what Andy Allenson left. Second basemen don't always appreciate that. You get a ground ball right there, or first baseman that hits that spot, it's going to take a bad hop.
Girardi digs it out of the dirt. 2-2 the count. Pitch with 2 away. And he strikes him out. So Hosey strikes out to Pater and now to Blair. No runs on a hit and a man left. We're in the middle
ball game. This is the Topps rookie card from 1971. Dusty Baker and Don Baylor. I asked Don Baylor about his relationship with Dusty Baker.
Well, that's where it ends. Yeah. He's a great friend of mine. He always has been. We played against each other in the minor leagues. We played together in Puerto Rico. But he's here to accomplish one thing today. And believe me, I'm here to do something for our fans also.
And he has. He has done something for his fans, hasn't he?
And Dusty Baker is well accepted by the Bay Area people. And, of course, we realize how well accepted Don Baylor has been to the fans in the Rocky Mountains. Both guys, both are going to be successful because they know what it takes to be successful, and that's hard work. And you can see Dusty having a little chat with Mr. Royce Clayton. As Don Baylor will have those same types of chats with some of his younger players.
Greg Brummett is now on the mound for the Giants. And for the Rockies, that's Willie Blair. That's not right. It is, yes. And he bounces out, and that is right.
See, the thing that I'm sure really upset Darrell Boston is he's announced into the game. And Tatum gets picked off. That's it.
He's out.
He doesn't get a chance to hit unless you put him at some position.
And so that will now bring up Gerald Young, who is batting in the #1 slot, the top of the order. as he replaces Alex Cole in the lineup, and he has a base hit up the middle. And so now, as the Rockies begin to make the wholesale changes, Roberto Mejia will be batting next.
Now, Don Baylor said there's a high ceiling for Roberto Mejia. And they think he can do it all, as they say.
Great expectation.
Yes.
We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. We have one away. The Rockies have a 6-2 lead over the Giants. And Gerald Young is the runner at first. Pick up your Coca-Cola Inaugural Rockies 8-ounce collector's bottle at your favorite retailer today and commemorate the Rockies' first season with Coca-Cola. Here's the offering, and it's low and inside. The big inning for the Rockies, the bottom of the 3rd, when they scored the 4 runs. Throw to first. And Gerald Young is back.
You saw those numbers for Mejia. That's an A ball. So this is a big jump for the young second baseman. And you almost have to figure that he's probably, at best, a year or 2 years away from the major leagues. He's going to have to put up some good numbers at another level before you start talking about him as a major league second baseman. But what the Rockies are talking about are his skills, his tools. And they feel that at his position, he has as good a skills as anybody in camp.
And he looks at a call strike. 1-1. The count to Roberto Mejia. Eric Young, who he replaces, scored a run at a double and a pair of RBIs. And another throw to first.
This, by the way, if you're looking at the Rockies uniforms, will be their home Sunday uniforms.
It's a good-looking uniform. I like that combination.
It really is. Their home uniforms, other than Sunday, will be a pinstripe top to match that bottom.
Could be 2. There is 1. Double play. So after 7 are complete, Rockies lead at 6-2. And the fly ball to center field.
That's Mejia, who has come in to play second base. Over at short is Vinny Castilla. He will play shortstop. Pedro Castellano will be at third base. And left field is Chris Jones.
And the batter is J.R. Phillips.
And if you're keeping score at home, we are wondering why.
That's right. We hope that your scorecard is as messy as ours. 1-0 the count to J.R. And he takes a cut and he misses. So it's Jones, Young, and Castillo in the outfield. Castellano and Castillo on the left side of the infield. Mejia and Lennon on the right side. On the mound is Willie Blair. And Joe Girardi is the catcher.
Now, I'll tell you something. Willie Blair is keeping the ball down, and he's got a pretty good left-handed hitter chasing. Just like that.
And he strikes him out. And that is the 3rd strikeout in the ball game for Willie Blair. And again, when we talked to him yesterday in the clubhouse, he had a quiet confidence. There was a little bit of arrogance about him, which I think a good pitcher has to have.
Yeah, you know, we went from Need to Painter, and then all of a sudden, I guess we were expecting the same out of Willie Blair, but he was more matter of fact.
Yep. Greg Colbert is the hitter. And Blair goes right to work on it. And the 0-1 pitch. 0-2 the count. Hey, don't forget, Rockies fans, it is time now for your Rockies Pizza Special. Only $9.99. You can still get it in time for the end of the ball game. Every time you order a large one-item pizza, Domino's will donate a portion of each sale to the Rockies Youth Foundation. It's Domino's. Call now and order your Rockies Special for only $9.99. The Rockies Special. I like it. 0-2. Getting hungry. Now that you mentioned it, yes. Yes. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Craig Colbert. And Blair comes high. We're in the top of the 8th inning. An assessment of how the Rockies have looked.
Well, I'm impressed, and the thing that impresses me most are the 3 guys that have been on the mound.
And that's the key.
It really is. It's going to keep you into the game. You know, if one of the 3 just loses it, you know, then the potential is there for a big inning and the score to be a lot different. Need, Painter, and Blair have been terrific.
And this is a view that you see in all of spring training. That, of course, is running in the outfield while the game is still going on. And Colbert draws the walk.
You can see Gerald Clark running, and some of the other players who have finished their running, stretching or relaxing.
And so with Colbert at first, Mark Carrion is now the hitter with 2 away. And so even though there's a spring training game going on, still a lot of work also going on in and around the ballpark.
Well, once you get through playing in the ball game, you still have to get your running in.
And a base hit over Castellano. He went up for it, couldn't quite get there. And so the Giants now with runners at first and second.
Well, this is a broken bat base hit. Blair jams Carrion. May have been that Castellano misjudged his leap as it went off the top of his glove. The book on Castellano is he can pick it. And they're hoping that he can swing the bat as well.
And the hitter is Mike Benjamin. Benjamin now the Giants shortstop. And he takes the pitch that's inside. So Blair got the first 2 batters here in the top of the 8th, and then a walk and a broken bat single. And the Giants have runners at first and second. And he comes low, and the count is 2-0. Rockies lead it by a score of 6-2.
Steve Reed, who is scheduled to throw after Willie Blair, is warming up in the bullpen. There's the sidewinder.
Blair is now high. If he walks him, would Reed come in sooner than planned? The bear goes out to the mound.
Well,
Larry Bernard, the pitching coach.
A young hitter for the Giants, Ted Wood, has grabbed the bat, so he's in the on-deck circle. He's a left-handed hitter. I don't know. It would be a tough call for Baylor. Blair breezed along until he had 2 outs here in the inning, and then he walked Colbert and gave up a soft line drive to Carrion.
Now he's back in the groove, and it's a 3-1 count.
And what you want Willie Blair to do is come back and throw the same pitch. Let Mike Benjamin put the ball in play. Make your defense work. You don't want to walk him.
Fly ball, right center. And Gerald Young makes the play to retire the side. No runs on a hit. 2 left. We're in the middle of the 8th inning. The Colorado Rockies 6, the San Francisco Giants 2. Good team. And he will face Chris Jones. And it's strike one. The Rockies scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 3rd, added 1 more. Tatum scored in the 4th, and their last run, Castillo scored in the 6th. And it's a 6-2 ball game. And Jones takes a cut and he misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He count to Chris Jones. He leads off the bottom of the 8th inning.
Chris Jones in a couple of the inter-squad games opened some eyes, as of course he wants to do. Hit the ball hard. Drove in a couple of runs.
And Allenson will go out to talk to Kevin Rogers. Hurry into your local Front Range Jeep Eagle dealer and test drive the award-winning Jeep Grand Cherokee and all-new Eagle Vision. For the best in sales, service, and value, visit any Front Range Jeep Eagle dealer today. 2-2 the count to Chris Jones. And he strikes him out. So Kevin Rogers opens the bottom of the 8th inning. Striking out Chris Jones.
Yeah, I'll take a look at Kevin Rogers. Just pours this in on Jones, and it ties him up. We talked about the good moving fastball. And if Kevin Rogers can pitch right-handers in there all the time, he will win.
And that'll bring up Patrick Lennon, the first baseman. And he looks at a call strike. Is that a tough motion that Rogers has for the batter to pick up?
It is, because when you tell people he throws across his body, what happens is the hitter has to pick up the ball as it comes through the pitcher's uniform.
And he picked this one up, but he fouled it off. 0-2 the count to Patrick Lennon.
Well, one of the other things about spring training is you have so many people on the roster, you can get anybody you want to go out there and protect those guys in the bullpen.
In fact, they take volunteers to go down and get some sun on a day like this. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And he strikes him out. So Kevin Rogers strikes out Chris Jones, then strikes out Patrick Lennon. And we've got 2 away.
Well, he worked Chris Jones inside. Here he works Patrick Lennon on the outside part of the plate.
And that'll bring up Vinny Castilla. This is his 4th at-bat in the ballgame. And he takes a pitch that's low for ball 1. He bounced out in the 2nd. He struck out in the 4th, tripled in the 6th, and scored one of the 6 runs for the Rockies. Rockies up 6-2. Here's the pitch. Called strike. 2 away. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning at High Corbett Field in Tucson, Arizona. Be sure to be with us next Saturday, March the 13th at 1 o'clock. We'll be in Mesa, the Rockies and the Chicago Cubs. That's our next television game. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Castillo.
Yeah, we are watching Kevin Rogers paint both corners, inside and outside.
He does look good, doesn't he?
He is impressive. Of course, nowadays, if you can find a young left-hander that throws the ball pretty hard, has an idea what to do, you will get every opportunity in the world to make somebody's team.
The count is 2-2. Fly ball deep left field. Carry on goes back.
And it's in the area where he reaches up, and it bounces right up against that wall. And some of those backgrounds back there are the same color as the baseball, so it's tough to pick up for us. As you see the one in the background right there, it's the Rocky Mountain News billboard.
And the hitter is now Pedro Castellano. And Castillo is aboard at second, so with 2 out, Castillo is in scoring position, and here is Pedro Castellano. Castellano replacing Tatum at third base for the Rockies. And at the bottom of the 8th, a chance to add at least one more. And it's outside. 1-1 the count to Castellano.
See Rogers finding the grip. Could be a slider or a fastball.
This one is deep to left again. Carry-on goes back. This one is off of the wall again. And the run scores. So back-to-back doubles off of the left field wall. Castellano picks up the RBI. And it's a 7-2 ball game. The Rockies out in front.
Well, a fastball from Rogers. Castellano right on it. Carry-on will go back. He'll stop, play it off the wall. And there's that white background we were talking about. It gets by him. But the center fielder is there to back up.
And here's Joe Girardi, the catcher for the Rockies.
So you can see how things can quickly change in an inning.
Rogers in complete control.
Oh, yeah, and then back-to-back doubles.
1-1 the count to Girardi.
If you really watch Kevin Rogers, you can see that his motion is unorthodox. He really ties himself up. Many people in the Giants organization are afraid that because he throws so strangely, he's going to hurt his arm.
Strike off. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Girardi. He has walked, scored a run, has a single, clapped up, stole a base. And a mini wave is visiting High Corbett Field. They've got to learn the wave if they're going to do it better than that. It needs work. Spring training for the wave.
Well, they got a problem, Charlie, and that's that there are not enough fans in the outfield to keep the wave going.
You get down the left field line, and there's a long pause. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Girardi.
I doubt if you could get the Giants outfielders to cooperate.
And he strikes him out. And so Rogers strikes out the inning, but back-to-back doubles, another run for the Rockies. Rockies up now 7-2.
And what you will notice out of Steve Reed, he does not throw over the top. He is a submariner.
And he was the Roll Age Relief Man of the Year in the entire minor league. Strike call. And that is a wicked-looking pitch.
It really is. That's Ted Wood, who is the hitter
for San Francisco. Then an underhand to Reed covering, and we have one away here in the top of the ninth. And that'll bring up the catcher, Andy Allen.
When you talk about Reed, Charlie, talk about a guy who's got most of this figured out. He says when I try to throw my hard sinker, I throw from 2 o'clock. But when he throws underhand, he says I'll throw around 5 o'clock.
What about 3:30? What does he have for that? Checking the time. And he was anxious to visit yesterday.
He was.
He really was. He was looking forward to this. He feels this is a role that he can find his niche in the major league.
Plus, this is against his former club.
That's always fun.
And That's always something to forward to. There is a slider.
Boy.
And if you try to picture how does a slider break from a guy who throws sidearm, it breaks like the motion of a Frisbee. It'll kind of slide. It doesn't go down. It just slides.
One away, top of the ninth. Rockies on top by 5. They lead 7-2, and the 0-2 pitch. And he pops up. Girardi comes back and makes the play. And something that you will notice for the youngsters, he did one of the key things for a catcher, and that is when he picked up the ball, he cleared the mask and the helmet, and he got it way away from where he was going to make the play.
He got rid of it as quickly as he could, and he almost hit Gary Darling with his mask. And Gary Darling is the home plate umpire.
John Patterson is the hitter for the Giants. Two away, and we're in the top of the ninth. And he fouls this one back.
What teams will try to do, Charlie, against Steve Reed, if they can, they will use a lot of left-handed hitters. Over his career, he has been more successful against right-handed hitters as opposed to lefties.
Foul ball, and the count at the plate is 0-2 with 2 away, top of the ninth. The first game in the history of the Colorado Rockies, and they lead it 7-2. So it all starts today here at High Corbett Field in Tucson. And it's outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count to John Patterson. And for Don Baylor, he's looking for his first victory, albeit spring training. He strikes him out. So for Steve Reed in the top of the ninth, 3 up and 3 down. And the Colorado Rockies. Darrell Boston is in left. Alex Cole in center. Dante Bichette will be in right.